Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Dream to be a Polyglot, where you're going to get to see my daily routine of how I study languages, and I'm going to be creating more content in English for you to practice the English language, to practice your comprehension. So make sure to subscribe, like, leave me a comment of what you think, of questions that you might have, and I'd be happy to interact with you as well. So welcome to my channel. This morning I'm just going to be cooking and talking at the same time, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm cooking some bacon right now. I don't know how many of you love bacon. I love bacon. So I'm going to be making breakfast for me and my family, and also guide you or tell you about my daily routine, a little bit of how I got my start studying languages as well. So first of all, I speak 7 different languages, with English, Spanish, French, Brazilian, Portuguese, Chinese, Arabic, and Russian. And I speak each of them at different levels. I'm also currently kind of dabbling in and studying 3 other languages, German, Italian, and Hungarian. So when I study each day, I take different approaches to studying. But one of the main things I really like to do when I study is to focus on subjects that I really enjoy, doing every day, activities that I do. So for example, my family and I really love to play chess. So every day, or every so often during the week, I watch videos on how to play chess strategies, but in those different target languages. For example, primarily I've been watching in Spanish, French, and Russian, how to play chess. And so it's a fun way to learn. And I encourage you to do the same, whether you like to cook. If you enjoy cooking, start watching about cooking in whatever language you are learning. If it's English, then watch videos in English about cooking. And so you're learning in a fun way. You're not focused on how they teach in school with grammar that's can be quite boring and a very tedious process. So that's my recommendation, is really make your language learning fun and make it something useful, a vocabulary that you'll use each day. I do this daily to where I watch videos, for example, like I said, in chess, how to play chess in the different languages, jiu-jitsu and wrestling, about my different types of work that I do, cooking, things that are fun and exciting, because you want to become passionate about learning a language. When you're passionate about learning language and you become enthusiastic about learning a language, you're going to learn faster. Now, I want to go back to something that I mentioned about speaking languages, about being fluent in a language. So there's, a lot of people talk about online, a lot of other polyglots online talk about what fluency means, and many times they'll tell people, well, you're not fluent. So I think this is an important topic to discuss, because from my perspective, I worked in the business world, professional business world, for many, many years, and I worked with people from, Mexico, from South America, from Ukraine, Russia, from China, and when I've worked with them in a professional business environment, many times, they don't have what you would consider fluency in the language. Right? What many of these polyglots deem to be fluency in the language, yet even in a professional environment, they can communicate enough to where you understand the context of what they're referring to. So that's important to really understand, that even, you consider working at business level you need a higher level of fluency, but it's not necessarily the case. A lot of times, from my experience of working with these people from these different countries that are speaking English, they're able to interact with other Americans that speak English well enough to, do business with them. So that's important to consider. Now, another perspective on fluency is, or from my perspective, is what I consider to be fluent might also be different from what other polyglots talk about. Is fluency, obviously you have different levels of different subject matter, right? From my perspective, you know, I have kids. My kid at 6 years old was fluent in English. Even though, you know, he can't talk about subjects like, you know, healthcare, going to a doctor, or medicine, for example, but my son could communicate with me his wants, his desires, like I want milk, I'm hungry, I don't like this, I love this, I want to watch TV, I want to go to the museum. So he was able to, at 6 years old, effectively communicate the context of what he wanted to do, even though his grammar was not perfect in English at 6 years old, right? Far from it. But he could communicate effectively. So that's what it's about. That's what I want to stress to you is don't buy into this "are you fluent" idea. Rather, just enjoy the language, enjoy the process, speak with people. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. If you are afraid to make mistakes, let me tell you from my experience, I was super afraid with the first language that I started learning was Spanish. When I was 32 years old, I started learning Spanish. And it took me many, many years to get over being afraid to speak with people. And there were some times even as a man, I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry because it's scary, you know, at first. But once you just force yourself to do it, you become accustomed to, okay, this isn't so scary. And people are normally willing to help you improve your language and practice your language. So that's what I want to encourage you to do, as many things, is don't focus on this idea of fluency. Just focus on the context. Can you get the context? Can you express yourself to that person? And if you can express yourself and they understand what you mean, that is the most important part. And just have fun on your journey. So that's going to conclude today. I have to finish cooking. I have to finish cooking. Do me a favor, subscribe to my channel, like my channel, and by doing so, I will create more content in English for you to practice. And leave me comments of what you think. What's your perspective on what I have to say? Let me know where you're from. I always like to speak to people from different countries and to hear their experience as well. So have a great day. Take care.